Welcome to the Advanced Excel Training. I hope you're finding this useful, and I congratulate you on making it this far. We are going to be covering quite a bit of ground in this video, and once again I encourage you to pause it at numerous places and give it a try yourself. So we're going to be looking at sorting, filtering, finding, three different functions with sum, AutoSum, and average, and some basic formulas. Now the spreadsheet that we're using should look familiar. We used it in the last video. Just prettied it up a little bit, and you should know how to do the formatting and the background fills and all that, so we won't go into that. Looking at the table, however, getting into sorting, we can see that it's all jumbled up. The dates go from May, June, July, back to May. Here's an April. And this is a small list, so it's not too critical, but if you have a really long list, you might need to sort it. So, to sort, we can click on any cell in the date column, doesn't matter, and then we simply click on Sort and Filter, and we're going to sort oldest to newest. Very good. So now we're running from April, May, June, and July. We can do the same thing in any of the columns. We could sort by the text and have it sort alphabetically. We can sort, let's sort this price column, and let's say we want to know from the most expensive to the least expensive. So we're going to sort from the largest amount to the smallest amount, and there we go. So that's sorting. It's really quite easy. The next thing we would look at would be filtering, and again, a small list, so this is not that critical, but on a large list, if this was, 100 rows long and we wanted to find just the shoes, there's an easy way that we could do that. Click anywhere in the table at all, any place, click on Sort and Filter, and this time we're going to sort on filter. Sort on filter. We're going to filter. Alright, so you notice we have these drop down arrows now. We can click on the drop down arrow, deselect all, and just click on shoes. Now there's an OK button down here. It's out of view of your screen, but I'm going to click on that, and so now we have just the shoes. If we wanted to find the shoes and the groceries, we can do that easily. Click on the OK button you can't see, and now we have just shoes and groceries. And we could select any of these that we wanted to filter for. I'm going to go ahead and select all again because the data did not go away, or I should say it wasn't destroyed. It's still there, it's just not visible. Alright, so filtering, also pretty easy. And again, we can filter by any of the columns. Alright. Okay, now the find is also a very important tool, very useful. Again, considering we had a list that might be 100 rows or 1,000 rows long, and we want to find the shoes. So we can click on Find and Select. It's one way to do it. And we'll click on Find, and it brings up this dialog. So all we have to do is click on Find Next, and you'll see it kind of highlighted that. Put a little bit lighter box on. It might be hard to see on your screen. If we click on Find Next again, it will find the next occurrence, and it'll keep going through that, back and forth, back and forth. Another way to pull up this box is, instead of clicking up here, you can just hold down the Control key and hit F. Some people prefer to do it that way. It does exactly the same thing. Alright, functions is next on the list, but I want to do one thing first, because functions really are formulas. I'm going to show you the most basic formula there is. Now, to type a formula into a cell, you always have to start with the equal sign. And in this case, we're going to hit the equal sign, and then I'm just going to click my mouse over here where it says Best Buy in cell C6 and hit enter. And all it did was copy cell C6 to cell I6. And if we click on this cell, we can see that here it says Best Buy, but the formula bar shows us the formula, not the result. Whereas if we click on any of these other cells that don't have formulas, the formula shows us the result that's in that cell. Now we can use auto fill on formulas just like we do on numbers or words. So if we carry this down, it copies everything from over here over to here. And Excel knows or anticipates that we want it to be from the second row, that we don't want Best Buy to be all the way down here. Oh, there's a way we could do that, but typically you want it to copy from each row. So this one is copying from C7, this is copying from C8, C9, etc. That is the most basic formula. But we're going to look at a couple of built-in formulas, which they call functions. So let's say that we wanted to know the total number of items that we had purchased during this month. It's quite simple to do. Click in the cell where you want that total to show up, and then there's a little icon up here. That little symbol, a Greek symbol, don't know the name of it, but it stands for sum. Quite simple. Click on that. It's going to show us some information which I'll get into, but for now we're just going to go ahead and hit enter, and it gives us our total. In fact, let's type total over here, give it a little bit of formatting just to make it look good, and some borders. Alright, now we could do the same thing ourselves. Since this is just a formula, if we look at our formula bar, it starts with equals, has the word sum, parentheses, the range that is going to be summed, which in this case is E6 to E15, so this whole area is our range. But we can type it out ourselves, equals, that begins our formula, sum, and you notice that Excel will give us a list of items that think we might find useful. We'll go ahead and put in the parentheses, and it gives us the format that we need to use. So we could go, from a small range, a large range, what have you. We're gonna go ahead. We'll just drag this range, let it enter it in for us, and then as we see at the end here, we need a closing parentheses. So we'll close the parentheses, hit enter, and we have our sum. Again, formulas can be auto-filled. So we'll drag that over, and we get a total for the gas. Let's look at what if we want the average. What is the average quantity that we purchased? Again, very simple. There is no button for it, so in this case we have to type it, but because Excel gives us hints as to what we can use, click on average, and again it's the same thing. We need a range and a closing parentheses. That's our average. We'll fill it across, we're done. I'm going to show you a little bit more involved formula, and then we'll wrap this up. So for our total in the rows, we want to have the quantity times the price plus the gas. So we can't just do a sum. That would not give us the right answer. And let's see, I'll pick this cell. So we're going to start off with an equal sign because it's a formula. And then we'll point to the cell that we want to start with, which is going to be the quantity times, now in Excel, times is the asterisk, and then it's going to times the price plus the gas. So our formula is equals E10 times F10 plus G10. And we get the result of 161.90. Now, if we click on that cell, again we see the formula in the formula bar, not the result. And we can fill this up and fill it down. And now we can finally get a grand total. I'm just going to hit the sum bar. Excel happened to pick the right combination here. Sometimes when you hit the sum, it'll try to add up the row instead of the column. So that's where you have to know how to enter those things yourself. We'll hit enter, and let's just do our most basic formula equals that, and voila, we have a pretty good looking table. I hope you found that interesting, helpful. We looked at sorting, filtering, finding. We looked at sum, auto sum, and average, and some basic formulas. Thank you. Have a good day.